Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. Before we get into today's video, I just want to thank everybody for supporting the channel, pushing to 3,000 subscribers. So if you guys do enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So in a few weeks where the off-the-court drama has definitely overshadowed all of the action on the hardwood, we all know that the Jimmy Butler trade sweepstakes is the main thing that is surrounding this Miami Heat team, especially in the media and the news. But the Miami Heat are still playing basketball. Jimmy Butler's been suspended for 7 games. He's missed, I keep forgetting this. I don't know. I think he's missed now 4 games or 3. I don't know. He has 3 or 4 games left on his suspension. The Miami Heat, they're actually 4 games. So the Miami Heat are 2-2 without Jimmy Butler. So the Miami Heat have beaten the Jazz and the Warriors. They lost to the Jazz and they lost to the Kings. So they're 2-2. They should have been 3-1. They should have definitely beat the Sacramento Kings. I was at that game. So they should be 3-1 without Jimmy Butler. But they blew a game against the Kings on the road without a De'Aaron Fox. And they were up by 17 with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter and somehow lost that game in double overtime. They're up by 4 or 5 with like a minute and a half left or so in the first overtime. And they blew that game as well because one player who I want to talk about had an opportunity to seal the game or at least give the Miami Heat a 3-point lead when they're up by 1 with 6 or 7 seconds left, whatever it was. And he missed 2 free throws that could have sealed the game potentially or forced the Kings to hit a 3-pointer to go to a second overtime. And this player missed both free throws. He were only up by 1. They fouled Keon Ellis on the other end. Luckily, he only made 1 free throw. But either way, they still went to the second overtime, and then that's where DeMar DeRozan killed us. But anyway, despite all of that, the team is still showing some promise with their youth movement with Jimmy Butler's absence. And that's provided an opportunity for this player and a few other players to step up. But I want to focus on Jaime Jaquez Jr., who has definitely stepped up and seems to be thriving with this new role as a starter with the increased reps. Obviously, that's going to help with higher usage and more opportunities. But again, if anyone has gained the most from Jimmy Butler's absence so far during the suspension, it's definitely Jaime. And he had a slow start this season, and whether that's due to lingering injuries, limited opportunities, a sophomore slump, whatever that is, that's up for debate. But what's clear is he's now taking full advantage of his expanded role, which is all we can ask for right now, especially when Jimmy Butler's gone. We need someone to step up. Jaime is stepping up in this moment. Hopefully it can continue. And if it does, then, hopefully the sophomore slump was only for the first 30-40% of the season. We're almost at the halfway point, or maybe we are at the halfway point now. But either way, a lot of basketball left for him to improve. And especially if Jimmy Butler's not going to be on this team after this suspension or even by the trade deadline, then he has a whole half season and opportunity to elevate his role on this team. So Jaquez, his touches have skyrocketed since Jimmy Butler's absence, jumping from only 36.5 touches per game in his first 33 games to 67 in the past 3. So almost double in terms of having the ball in his hands, which is great. His time of possession now ranks second on the team during this stretch, and he's proving that he's making the most out of the lineup that he's been in, which is the starting lineup. So Jaquez is definitely just playing kind of in that new Jimmy Butler role, essentially. Recently in this 3-game stretch, though, before I get into that, talking about his numbers, he's averaged an impressive 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists, which is huge. That 8 assists is huge over the 3 games, including his first triple-double in that overtime loss to the Kings that I mentioned earlier. He's playing with a newfound confidence, and he's poised out there, and he's standing out. So I think one of the benefits, though, of this role is that we're kind of playing him as our point forward. So Terry Rozier has been starting also since Jimmy Butler's been out, and we know he's not a point guard. His distribution playmaking has been horrible this season. Tyler Hero's playing more off ball, so we're allowing Jaime to bring the ball up. So that's why you can see an uptick in his assists. If we look at what he was averaging in those first 33 games without starting, Jaime Jaquez for this season only playing 22.8 minutes. I think he was playing 28 minutes last season. So his numbers or his time is down. And he's only averaging 9 points. Last season was almost 12, 4.8 rebounds, 2.58, 2.5 assists, 1.2 steals, field goal percentage 43%. And then the kicker is the 3 point percentage is 25%. So, um, yeah, numbers are just way down this year, obviously having that slump. But lately, like I was mentioning, he's averaging double his season average in points, so 18 points per game. He was averaging 2.5 assists. He's averaging 8, almost 4 times. Like rebounds are up. Like he is just playing really good. And one thing that's sticking out besides his playmaking and ball handling is again his jump shot has not fully returned. He's not ever, known as a shooter. Um, but he showed flashes last season, like especially at the beginning of the season last year. He was shooting like 36%, 37% from three for an extended time. That dropped down to like 31, 32, evened out for him. But there is promising signs. Hawkeye has hit 3 of 5 from beyond the arc. In the second matchup against the Jazz, and he hit a huge three in crunch time against the Jazz in the fourth quarter. So his shooting is improving. His efficiency is improving slowly but surely during this time frame where he has seen an increased role. So while expanding his role, Jaime, you can see, is more confident. He has the ball more in his hands. He has more touches. He's more involved in the offense, and that's like the blueprint for him. And it seemed like the league cracked his code and understood that like he's going to go with that for that spin move. He's going to do a ton of pump fakes, has excellent footwork. So a lot of folks were trying to stay down on Jaime, not really jumping and getting up in the air where he's getting these fouls or he's getting wide open looks. Um, in the paint, people have figured that out. But look, it looks like with him having the ball in his hands, he's able to get downhill a little bit more. He's able to facilitate right now as well. So if he's not scoring, he's able to find his teammates. He's rebounding really well on the defensive end as well. And his shot is improving with confidence and with more exposure. So when he gets into rhythm, he's still a very skilled finisher under the basket. Again, his footwork is mesmerizing. He's a true like 90s, early 2000s footwork artist. And, he does have a quick step. He's able to finish at the rim. And again, with him having the ball in his hand at the top of the key, he is getting to the rim and finishing at the rack like off the dribble now. He's not relying on post up moves and turnarounds and fadeaways. So huge step for Jaime Jaquez, as Jimmy Butler is going to be out for another 3 games. Let's see what he can do on Saturday. I think the Miami Heat are playing against one of the Lakers teams, or no, I think they're playing against. Let me double check. I don't know if they're playing the Pelicans or not. Let's see, Portland. Okay, so they're playing Portland tomorrow, and then they play Monday and Wednesday against the Clippers, and then the Lakers. So let's see if Jaime can keep it up, and then he's going to be going home to Los Angeles, so he'll be in front of his home family and friends and whatnot. And even though there's all those devastating fires that are happening in Los Angeles, so prayers go out to all the folks in Los Angeles. My cousin lost his home, so super unfortunate, man. It's tough. That hits really close, and so yeah, the Heat are on the West Coast trip. They'll be going to Jaime's home, and yeah, should be interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.